What's up, everybody? I'm Dex again, and today, Boomers Being Fools. Today's this part's post is Captain underscore Flack. Boomer boss expects me to attend meetings during approved PTO, paid time off for people like me who probably shouldn't know that. Boomer story. Duh. Working for boomers is the absolute worst. I put in for a week of leave a while ago and my boss approved it. Then she had me come into a 3-hour meeting yesterday and wants me to zoom into another meeting today. This is not the first time this has happened. I can't this worth ethic crap they pull all the time. Why did you even respond when you weren't looking? Why did you go into the 3-hour meeting? Set boundaries. Boom overstepping and Opie allowing it to happen. Eye rolls. As bad as boomers are, generation afraid of interpersonal conflict is just as bad. We're trying, but the boomers conditioned us from childhood to be this way. Oh, yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about right. Yeah, I had to read a bunch of I had to read like 3 or 4 of the comments, because, like, one paragraph. And that's it. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Seems about right. Just, everyone's gonna get used to something, whether that be doing something they shouldn't supposed to be doing, agreeing to stuff they shouldn't agree to, stuff like this. You know the drill. I actually did disable the keyboard stuff. Y'all are welcome. Anyway. Boomers being fools, that avid panda bear analog clocks at 6:50. Crazy that Gen Z won't get this joke because they can't read analog clocks. Oh, you fool! I have a fancy watch that's an actual watch. Anyway. Meanwhile, every VCR and appliance in a boomer's house, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Not too many buttons. What does set clock do? The truth hurts. We just need 5 channels. Also being pedantic, the time they said was wrong. The smallest hand is the hour hand. So that would be the hand holding the ball. Then there should be a hand thin for the minutes. The legs are the same thickness size. I forgot the slash. So you can't really tell which is supposed to be minutes versus hours. I would say the correct time is either 8:30 or 8:50. I disagree with you, but take my upvote. Yep, okay. Seems about right. Yeah, that makes sense. Plus, I'm pretty sure most of it, like, in my high school, mind you, there are 2 clocks. A digital clock that's barely visible and probably isn't even on. And then the other one that's a classic analog clock. Very nice. Except nobody can read it. They either A, look at the extra digital clock that the teacher likely has provided, or B, no. They just look at their Chromebook or ask like me because I have a watch, or just suffer. Yeah, they got a lot of options there, don't they? Okay, this one is by Leather C9177. Can't read or doesn't care. Boomer freak out. Well, it happened. Had to go to Menards for a house emergency. I'm just gonna assume that's like a store like Bash's or something. Got my stuff, went up to checkout, and waited a few trying to find the right snackies. Oh yeah, just like all those snacks that you just find right next to checkout. I get gum there most of the time. Like bubblegum's pretty good. Okay, I'm getting way off topic. Spotted a couple with a pair of Yorkies and leashes and didn't think much of it. I finally get in line and put my stuff on the belt. Here comes Boomer saying loudly, but in a fun voice, "What are those dogs doing in here? Get Get them dogs out of here. I'm thinking he just wants to see the dogs. Nope. He takes his dogs, and then I see a manager walking behind him, escorting him out. He gets outside, it's a complete 180. He's mad, gets in the manager's face, and I assume says something to the effect of, "You don't allow dogs?" Manager leans over, literally does a ta-da with both hands, pointing to the sign on the door that says, "No dogs allowed, service animals only." Boomer, realizing he's in the wrong, says, "I don't give a shoot." And he stomps off, and I'm just like, well, this can go on Reddit. Accurate reaction, really good reaction. Oh my god. Everything here is in some sort of balance. Got the 555, and then we got a 6-7. Of course we do. Just speaking as someone who loves my dog with every fiber of my being, he belongs in my lap, but he does not belong in Menards. Excuse me for a second. Plop that there. Oh yeah, I was right. That's like, one of those type of stores. Exactly. No problem taking my dog to places like Home Depot, but if they sell food outside of snacks at the register, or someplace where a dog doesn't belong, like a Kohl's, dogs stay at home. The shopping cart thing. Yeah, gotta admit, this right here is just still a really good reaction, isn't it? Just, well, Reddit. This one by Intelligent Secret 909. I expected you to greet me at the door. It's a boomer story, because of course it is. It only looks longer than the other ones, though. It's just divided into a whole bunch of paragraphs. My friend has recently hosted a charity fundraiser at a local restaurant. You book your table, have a meal, play some games, buy some raffle tickets, have a fun night, and go home. Good schedule. She's going from table to table, selling raffle tickets. Restaurant is heaving, kids running around, people coming up there to buy more tickets, wait staff bringing food and drinks, bedlam. I have never heard of that word before. So you best believe I'm gonna just... Scene of uproar and confusion. Okay, seems about right. She gets to a 4-person table with one person sitting there. A boomer. Dun 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 dun. She says to the boomer, "Thank you very much for coming. I see you were waiting for the rest of the table. Would you like to buy a raffle ticket in the meantime, or would you prefer me to come back when everyone is here?" Boomer, "Why have all the other tables got food already?" Friend, "The restaurant will bring your meals when the rest of the table arrives." I expected you to greet me personally at the door when I arrived. Backs away smiling. "I'll get the waitress to come and get your drinks order." The rest of the table, when they arrived, were lovely and bought loads of raffle tickets and had a great time. Boomer sat there all night with a face like a bulldog chewing a wasp. Seriously, F these people. Yeah, seems about right. My parents also boomies love a good non-vocalized expectation, only to be communicated once you failed. Ooh, man. Get those all the time. Jesus. Best response I found for this, and by best I mean solely my own enjoyment, was reminding my mom that she needed to use her words and that I understood she was dealing with big emotions right now, but she needed to take a deep breath and find her words to communicate. Never seen her so mad and utterly speechless before. Didn't learn, of course, but I enjoyed it. Oh my god, I've even done the "let's catch a bubble" to indicate she should stop talking. And she was an elementary school teacher, so she absolutely knows what I'm doing. Not just be quiet, but behaving like a child. Actually, that she gets so flustered and angry when I do it as cherry on top. Ooh, these expectations, man. Anything not spoken or spoken doesn't get to them, but the second you do something that you don't do something that isn't like, ugh, my train of thought got wrecked. You get the idea though. This Boomer story by Terrible East 3. Boomer gets mad at me for being happy at work. I'm a mid-20s male server slash bartender, and I sometimes run across that typical boomer in a bad mood with a big ol' scowl. Scowl. I do not know how to speak. Over time, I realize their energy can wane on you. The way I combat it is just raising my energy and being in a good mood around them. Smile a little extra. This works great as a sort of shield from them. Huh, yeah, that sounds about right. Just be happy. And then it works. Well, over this weekend, I can't stop thinking about this interaction I had with these two boomer guys. I think I was already in the shield mode from a different table, and when I greeted these two, one of the guys was instantly like, "Why are you so happy?" To which I replied, "Why wouldn't I be?" He then looks around the restaurant and says, "I can think of a few reasons," and chuckles to his friend. I just kind of ignored it and kept pushing, fully knowing what he was insinuating. Every time I checked up on them, the guy would give me the dirtiest scowl when he looked at me. I genuinely started laughing to myself by the end, and he caught a whiff. He said to me, "You're not very professional." I said, "How so? I think we're doing fine here." And then he muttered that it's just your style. I didn't really know what to do with that, and since I was busy, I was just like, "Oh yeah, for sure." The whole thing was just odd, and I think he was trying to shoot me down. I feel this energy often, but just wanted to share in case anyone has similar experiences. Okay. Gonna be honest. Oh man, I think I wanted to say something, but I actually tried to save it for later this time, and then I forgot what it was. The power of I'm me, I forgot. Oh yeah, here it was. The genuinely started laughing to myself part. I do that when my stepdad crashes out. It's amazing. Or at least I used to, because he hasn't crashed out recently enough for me to remember properly. "I'm sorry, but you appear to be inebriated. I cannot serve you." Oh boy, Googling time. It's just fancy words for drunk. Right to refuse service isn't just a sign over the bar. Probably one of the few trump cards that bartenders and cashiers at liquor stores have that they can use without the likelihood of negative consequences from a manager. It'd be nice to see it more used like this. Oh yeah, that sounds about right. Like, bars, crazy, drunk, right to refuse service, just, "Nah, I don't think I can serve you." Genius idea. But at least they aren't like that drunk here. They're just giving dirty scowls and suck. Yeah. Yeah, what do they mean? It's just your style. What do you mean you get mad for someone being happy? I thought being happy was infectious and stuff. Alright, so I fully expected something slightly further from this one by CutieClaire27. Boomer randomly lectures me about garlic. Boomer story. So I'm at the supermarket grabbing some last minute for a Super Bowl party tomorrow, and I stop to grab a head of garlic. While I'm looking for one that looks big enough, a random boomer steps in front of my cart. I think he's doing it because my cart was a little in the way of that thing with the plastic bags, so I go to move my cart and apologize. But when I go to, he immediately comes up to me and starts like telling me about the garlic. Like, "Hey, did you know if your garlic has hairs on the bottom, it's from the US? But if it doesn't, that's the ones they import from China." Side note, I don't even think this is true. The only source I can find on this is one single TikTok Facebook post. There's a clip of Trump in the video and has a bunch of boomers in the comments talking about how they don't want to buy from China. So it just nods like, yeah, thanks, my way through it. Acts all weird when he leaves, you know the deal. Just kind of a weird boomer story. Anyway, I'm gonna Google something. That shit just roots. That's all I needed to know, because I am not informed about my garlic. Weird tangent, but most of the garlic in the U.S. is grown about 30 miles south of the stadium the stadium the Super Bowl is taking place in. Half of I don't trust myself with that. Is that like Jose? Yeah. Smells like garlic on autumn mornings before the fog burns off. Is this what pushed all the vampires into Santa Carla? How are those noodles, Michael? Okay. This got off topic very quick. Yeah, not gonna lie, this just seems really random. This boomer just thought he could influence you, and when it didn't really work that well, he's like, okay, then I guess. That's what I assume happened anyway. Okay, so this one seems slightly more crazy by Dead Net with an extra T. Oh, I did not mean to show the full thing of their profile. Anyway, boomer buttholes think they have power. Look at the images later. My girlfriend and I own a home in a retirement community in Florida. Last October, 2025, a storm knocked out power to two of our neighbors. One nice guy and one difficult butt neighbor. Florida Power came out and ran a temporary emergency electrical hookup from our meter to both of their houses. It was just 3 heavy cables lying on the ground, clearly labeled with big tags that said, "Do not disturb" and "Do not move," and instructed people to call the power company if there were any issues. Hookup was only supposed to last about 30 days. Then the usual blame game started. The power company didn't want to own the problem, the homeowners association didn't want to own it either, pushed it back onto the 2 neighbors. Nice neighbor was nice. He was ready to pay and have it properly fixed right away. The butt neighbor just kept dragging his feet. Finally came to a head a few days ago. While I was back home in New York, my girlfriend and her sister were at the house alone. They woke up to a loud banging on the back door. It was the butt neighbor. Casually told them, "You're going to be without power for a couple of hours." My girlfriend asked what he was talking about. He said that he and his electrician were there to fix the problem with the wires. They had already dug a trench in the yard and were laying a conduit. She immediately called me, told her to make them stop working right away. When she asked the neighbor again what exactly they were doing, he just smirked and said, "We'll tell you when we're done." I needed a more butthole voice, but oh well. I quickly called another neighbor I've known for a while, a guy who really knows construction. He walked over to take a look and later told me it was a complete mess. The conduit was wrong. The wire they were using wasn't rated for direct burial or even indirect burial. Okay, no burial, got it. And nothing was being done to code. When he tried to politely point out the problem, the butt neighbor and his electrician told him to mind his own business and ducking leave. The construction-savvy neighbor called him back and said he was walking away because he didn't want to create bad blood with the neighbors. Called my girlfriend back and told her to call the power company's emergency line immediately. Luckily, they sent a technician out within an hour. The power company guy arrived, got everyone together. Girlfriend, the 2 neighbors, and an electrician. He looked at the work and told them it was one of the worst things he had ever seen. He was clearly pissed. He turned to the neighbors and said, "This lady been kind enough to let you piggyback off her meter for months, and this is how you repay her? She could have your power turned off right now if she wanted to. She doesn't have to let you use her meter at all." My girlfriend, being the nice person that she is, didn't go that far. Instead, she gave them 30 more days to get their straight and have everything done properly and legally. The butt neighbor had no choice but to call his poopy electrician back to disconnect everything they had just started installing. Let me reiterate, this butt half-butted an electrical service without coordinating with me or my girlfriend or the power company. They came onto my property and started not disking. What does that even mean? Digging without even asking, and told my girlfriend they'd tell her what they were doing when they were done. They yelled and swore at the guy I sent over to see what they were doing, and he still had the attitude like we weren't being neighborly by not letting him cob job some electrical work. I have never heard that before, but I get the gist. Edit. My girlfriend went over to the button neighbor's house the next day and gave her a piece of her mind. He said he never wants to see her face again. He was mad that... Oh, sorry, beg on. He was mad at her that she blew him into the association maintenance people and the power company. Unbelievable. Anyway, picture time. So I'm assuming this is the trench, and that's like the wire they were talking about, and they're just like working on that on there. Oh, I can't maneuver this with the arrow keys. And that's like the power thingy. Yeah, it's like it just goes. There's probably something under there, and then that just goes around there. And that just goes all the way, and even the hose is getting buried. Oh no, you're never gonna see that thing again. Nah, I'm just joking. Anyway, let's see what happens over here. Nah, y'all are being too nice, especially in Duckin, Florida. I'd had the fucking power company cut it right ducking then. That's why the power guy mentioned it, to give her the option. 30 days is just 30 more days for him to drag his feet. Agreed. Gave Butt an inch, he took a mile. And then offered him another inch. Ooh. Yup. He didn't even respect OB and the other occupants enough to notify them of his crazy plan in advance, because he feels entitled to their power. Ooh, I should check out entitled people sometime. He only rudely let them know right before. What if someone was on medical equipment that requires AC? What if they had a tropical fish aquarium? It's so beyond inconsiderate that I would immediately withdraw every ounce of grace I've been granted to them. Absolutely, the moment you don't tell me what you're doing is the moment you've lost 99% of my good graces. Okay, one more. This is what happens when there's no regulation. Everyone blames each other and nothing gets done. Then when it does get done, it's in the poopiest, most dangerous way possible. We're supposed to be past all this bullspit. Yeah, that seems about right. Like, what kind of entitled person? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing? Like, why? I don't think we'll ever know. It's like my sleepiness is so entitled that it's rudely interrupting me mid-explanation here. But in an actual person, and for something that actually means something. Like, y'all can ignore a yawn. I don't think anybody can ignore whatever the heck this is. Especially if he's as, like, smirky, snarky, and beachy as he was according to this. Yeah, that'd be pretty bad, huh? Alright. This one. Ark the Man. My brain just died trying to remember a fancy way of saying that. 2500, there we go. Boomers won't stop hitting my car. Boomer story. The other day I was running to the grocery store and unfortunately I had the classic boomer doesn't care about other people situation. I think the quote might have gone a little far. Oh well. Could be part of the title too. I pulled into a spot next to another car and before I got out, two women in their 60s walk up between our cars with their shopping cart to load up their groceries. I can't get out because they're loading into the front passenger side for some reason. But it's fine. I'll wait for them to finish. As 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 the one lady's leaning to put the bag Okay, let me try that again. As the one lady's leaning to put the bags in, she booty bumps her door right into mine. Very solidly with a nice thunk. I literally thought to myself, it's just a con, whatever. It's just a small little dent or something, it's fine. Just maybe even a little, just but a scratch. Sure, I'll accidentally tap the neighboring car before, it happens. But she doesn't even look back my way or try to apologize. She just moves the door back a foot and resumes. And guess what? She does the same thing a second time. Obviously, I'm a bit irritated, but I'm not into fighting with strangers over minor issues like this. So I let it go again and keep waiting until she does it a third time. Now I can feel my blood boiling. If I did that once and the person was in the car I hit, I would be mortified. But no, she didn't even acknowledge me or look at the car to see if she made any marks. My blood started boiling and I was able to crack my door crack my door an inch and give her a loud, "Are you serious?" Oh, that did not come out right. Let me try that again. Gave her a loud, "Are you serious?" There we go, that's better. Whatever I was doing previously did not work. At which point she finally moves out of the way and gives a little, "Sorry." I got out and checked on my car. Thankfully, it was just some superficial scrapes. Exactly as I said. Again, not into fighting with strangers, so I left it at that, but come on. No respect for other people. You're just an NPC to them. I cannot imagine living my life like that. Hell, I apologize to actual NPCs in video games if I bump into them while walking around. Same. I feel shame when behaving shamefully in a virtual environment and they feel no shame in reality. Having empathy is weird for some people. It's like not taught or something. NPCs will attack you for ducking up their cars in a lot of games. Okay, yeah, no, that sounds about right. We got the two views of I cannot imagine living my life like that. NPCs will attack you for ducking up their cars. Yeah. Two ways of saying the exact same thing. Yeah, these boomers just think that this person is like an NPC and not gonna overreact to any of this. Or react at all. Hell, I'm betting if it wanted to, it could be like, "Hey, look at these scratches. Give me your insurance. I'm making them pay for it." And that would have just made everything really so far much worse, but hey, lessons will be learned. They will be learned no matter what. Here's a simple one by the SMP164. Short story about boomer karma. Ooh, karma. Boomer story. Just got done getting some lunch with the family from the drive-thru. Boomer behind us was upset we weren't moving our car up quickly enough, so we could wait in a different part of the line of cars ahead of us, and honked his horn 3 times for us to move up. Isn't one enough? We roll up to the pay window where the cashier tells us they are out of pies. My wife says they didn't order any, and I joked that this wouldn't be a problem for us. Then it clicked that the message was intended for the boomer behind us and would likely be a problem for him. Turn around to see his reaction to the news, and it was exactly what you would expect. Drove off a second later without getting any food at all. Ooh, today will be a good day. Wait, how did he fit? Most driver lanes are like very thin, like 1 car length, unless he was just pissy in the lane, went up, just said nothing to the pay, went up further, said nothing to the food, and then just left that way. Unless it was nobody behind him, and then he just backed out. It's another option. I was gassing out my car when a boomer guy kept honking his horn at me to hurry up. Bumbling go so fast, genius. I smiled and waved, which only made him angrier. Ooh, rage babe was just hot. But it can go slower, said the nozzle to a lower click, or just stand there pretending to fill as long as you want. If I didn't have to be somewhere, then I would have. Being like as you were pissing off a boomer fool is now an acceptable excuse. Yeah, boomers, if they're being fools, or just being very entitled and stupid, they need some of that sweet, sweet karma. They need lots of it. A buffet of it, honestly. I ran out of words on this topic a long time ago. What am I saying? Alright, this one just seems kind of crazy, but Mannequin P. 2 boomer themes for one evening. I never thought I'd have a story to tell here, as loud boomers seem like a somewhat American phenomenon. But suddenly, I've got 2 in one go. 2 in one combo. Amazing. Yesterday, I was at a small neighborhood restaurant with my wife, a place with about 10 tables and most patrons being regulars. All of a sudden, I hear this loud noise I can't quite place, like a conversation mixed with laughter. Within seconds, it's so loud I can't even carry on my own conversation. I turn around to see what's happening, and there, 3 tables away, 2 male boomers in their late 70s watching a funny video on one of their phones, completely oblivious. The whole restaurant is staring at them, but they're just in, like, their own little world. After a few more seconds, someone at the table next to them, who clearly couldn't hear himself think anymore, finally says something. And the boomer puts his phone away after a couple of seconds, though I suspect he'd finished watching the video by then. Yeah, sounds about right. Video length is probably just like a minute or 2, maybe 3 long. It's how most funnies work. But that was only a short intermission, because 2 minutes later, a woman from a boomer couple at the table next to ours, also in their 70s, suddenly started a speakerphone call at full volume so her husband doesn't miss a word. At this point, I'm half convinced I'm on candid camera. I don't know what that is, but okay. I'm about to say something when the owner appears next to me, probably alerted by the previous incident, because she can see I am pissed. At my request, she went to the boomer's table and gently asked the lady to turn it down, which she did without arguing. Hey, no need to be stern, we could just be like, hey, can you turn this down? And then she was just like, oh, okay. Bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. So yes, it's starting here too, but at least these boomers still appear to have enough sense to realize they've gone too far when someone calls them out. And I was pleased by the diplomatic but firm and efficient way the owner dealt with the situation. I know, right? Very easy. Where's here? After a really quick look on the profile, I'm guessing France? Not 100%, just lazy guess. Close. Belgium. You can even guess the city by considering the username, pointing at the most well-known tourist attraction of it. Yeah, I thought the interactions were a bit too polite for Americans. Seriously, that would not have ended well in America. Life is cheap in old countries. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep going. There's just no reply here. Okay. Yeah, that seems about right. If you were in America, I think someone would have a gun. American Mario is just Mario with a gun. Maybe a tank. So imagine how that would go with an American boomer. And then we just have like other boomers that are just like, hey, please quiet down. Oh, okay, yeah, sounds good. It's, wow, this is very different than what I had expected from any of this. Yippee. Okay, so this one by Thomas Cloud. I think that's how you say that. This is just short and simple. Road rage accusation from my boomer mom. Ooh. Oh no. I can compare this to a lot of things that waters this effect down very easily. Boomer story. Talking to my boomer mom, not talking, taking my boomer mom to her doctor appointments, and another boomer lady almost hit us twice in the parking lot pulling through a parking space the wrong way, then flips me off even though our car was not moving. Mom says something like, "Goodness, what was her problem?" I had to say it fancily because, and I replied, "I don't know, but she was a rat for flipping me off." And then my mom proceeds to stare at me, open mouth, literally, jaw agape. Then I was like, "What?" And she proceeds to lecture me all the way to the doctor's office how I need to get my road rage under control and even need therapy. All because I said a woman who almost hit us then flipped me off was a rat. I wasn't even mad, just annoyed at being flipped up by a woman who almost hit us. What the fuck? Yeah, personal opinion before I go into the comments. What do you mean road rage in this country? In this American country. Well, you already actually get the idea because I said the word American. American road rage. Yeah, you know how that goes. Or alternatively, they just argue on the side of the road or like in the middle of the road. Y'all can guess how that goes down. I don't think I'm allowed to say that on here. Your mom would not want me to drive her then. Not even raging. I would have countered that boomer lady with a finger of my own along with some choice words aimed in her direction about her entitled inability to drive in a parking lot. I think she would have just exploded. Well, my thoughts exactly. I let my transitional symptomatic phase leading to oh! What a rip in the face of that stupidity. Okay, I understand things that I did not expect to understand today. Oh, wow. Why? Okay, anyway. So that's gonna be all for today. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. And, yeah, enjoy this mini song for a second. Let me just, let y'all enjoy that for a sec. This is my outro now. You just do a spin. I need some outro music. Anyway, that'll be all. Please like and subscribe if you like this new style of content of mine. And thanks for stopping by. Next time, and I'm not lying this time, insane parents. Nothing can stop me unless I change my mind midway through. Because, wow, it's late. Because the content is too adult and I don't understand a single word they are saying. That's slightly likely for me because I am dumb. Yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks for stopping by.